This trip, the first of the new year, is particularly important because I'm preparing the ground for the international conference on Afghanistan that's taking place in London on the 28th of January. Pakistan has a special place in any discussion about the future of Afghanistan. A 1,600-mile border, 2,500 kilometers. And we all know that the badlands of the Afghan-Pakistan border are a particularly dangerous area. Dangerous because it's a place where international terrorism can be planned. It's a place where murderous attacks on the Pakistani state are planned. And it's also an area from which attacks on our troops in Afghanistan are planned. So there's no better place to be discussing the Afghan conference than and the role of neighbouring countries in helping stabilise Afghanistan than in Pakistan. I hope that by the end of this trip I've got a stronger sense of the Pakistani priorities for the Afghan conference. Also a set of commitments from the Pakistanis about how they're going to play a constructive role, not just at the conference, but beyond, because there have been some important developments in Afghan-Pakistan cooperation over the last year and a half, starting with President Karzai's attendance at the inauguration of President Zardari, and now moving beyond the finger-pointing that typified the period after 2001 between Afghanistan and Pakistan, a much greater sense of common and shared destiny, and I think that that's something we need to build on.
I thought it was especially important that I made a dedicated visit to Pakistan to talk about the London conference and to talk about Pakistan's perspectives on the situation in Afghanistan. Pakistan is a vital partner in finding solutions and progress in Afghanistan. The London conference on Afghanistan will look at Afghanistan's security needs, it will look at its development and governance needs, and it will look at the regional contribution of countries in the region to the security and prosperity of Afghanistan. And we've had a good and detailed discussion on a range of issues underpinning those three headings today.
People understand that a stable Afghanistan and a stable Pakistan go together, and an unstable Afghanistan means trouble for Pakistan. And the London conference is about responding to the challenge of the Afghan government for better support. Now, that better support comes with the demand for better performance. We've all got to raise our game. And I think that's why 2010 is such an important year. We're at Islamabad airport about to leave a new city for a very old one, Karachi. In some ways, the real Pakistan waits for us. We've just come from the King Faisal Mosque, which was built in the 1960s and 1970s as a home or heart for a university to think about the future of Islam. 20,000 students there now. What we get the chance to do in Karachi is try to see what those arguments and ideas about culture, terrorism, economics that are written in policy papers actually mean in the real world. I think that for the meeting with President Zardari, key questions are about how his vision for the future of Pakistan fits in with changes that are going on in Afghanistan, because I don't know how many times we've said that a stable Pakistan and a stable Afghanistan are interdependent. We've now got complementary security, political, economic activity on both sides of the border. That's new. Two countries have stopped pointing fingers at each other. That's also new. But there's a big step to go from there to actions on each side actually helping to promote stability in the other country. So there's some way to go, but look forward to the rest of the day. Well, this is the garden of the British Deputy High Commissioner in Karachi. 18 million people live here. It was 50,000 at partition. So you can see that this is a thriving city. It's actually a booming city, despite the fact that 300 people have been killed in sort of communal violence over the last month or last year or so. 10 people were killed yesterday after the attacks on the 26th of December. It's an important city politically because it's the heart of the Sindh province, major political centre in Pakistan. It's also the home to 3 million Pashtuns. So for all that we hear about the Afghan-Pakistan border and the Pashtun communities and how they go across, there's a stable Pashtun community here. They're an important part of business and political life. I'm meeting about 20 young people who've been at British universities and now in their 30s, I guess, who are involved in business and political life. Then we see the governor end up seeing the President of Pakistan here, who's flying in, but also the British business community, or at least the business community within East Britain.
As we've raced round the officials and the ministers of the Pakistani government, as we encounter business and civil society here in Karachi on the second day of a typically busy and engaged, energetic visit by the Foreign Secretary. We're particularly focused in this trip on preparing for the London conference on Afghanistan on the 28th of January, and our meeting with President Zardari will be very important in that regard. This is quite a momentous moment for Pakistan as we struggle to find the right answers for Afghanistan and for dealing with violent extremism, and really for South Asia with its booming populations and its need for rapid economic growth to sustain those populations. So I and the High Commission in Islamabad and the Deputy High Commission here in Karachi have really got a tremendous amount to do, and I look forward to being able to apply all Britain's real influence in this country as a force for good in this country and for British interests.